What's up, Eagle Empire? Ted McCoart here with you at Johnson Arena, and this is Tuesday TED Talk. Fans, as many of you know, the Morehead State men's basketball team once again in the thick of things in the Ohio Valley Conference Championship race with a big slate of games coming up starting on Thursday here at Johnson Arena against Eastern Kentucky. Now today, to talk about this run towards the end of the season, I thought we'd catch up with Morehead State junior big James Baker. JB, as his teammates call him, has been a real impact player for the Morehead State men's team during his first 2 seasons. Now James looks to finish out his junior season strong and help his team bring home an Ohio Valley Conference championship. Why don't we head over to the locker room, Morehead State locker room, and catch up with JB and see what he's got for us. Now joined by James Baker here in the Morehead State men's basketball locker room. James, how we doing?
Doing good, Ted. How about yourself?
Doing well. It's really good to have you here on Tuesday TED Talk, and look forward to talking to you a little bit. And the last few years, man, you've been one of the most energetic, exciting players to watch on the floor for Morehead State men's basketball, and really excited to kind of let our fans know who James Baker is a little bit more than what they see on the court. So let's go ahead and start there. They see a long 6'7" dude. Where are you from, James?
Brandenburg, Kentucky. I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, but I moved to Brandenburg by my end of my sophomore year of high school.
Okay, so you went to Brandenburg. It's Meade County. That's where you played high school basketball. It's really kind of an interesting story, though, from you going from Louisville to Meade County there. What's can you fill the people in on that, you know?
It's a very, very long story, but long story short, I played AAU with a guy named Calvin Hackert, and originally I was supposed to move to Ludington, Michigan, because his mom was supposed to get a head coaching job. Her name's Dina Hacker. She played at Hope College. But something happened to where both of the parents had to move there, and we didn't end up going. So he went to Meade County High School, which is how I got there. I moved in with them, played there junior and senior year, lived with them, and then my mom ended up moving to Meade County.
Okay.
And I stayed with her for a summer. And then she ended up traveling for her job or whatever. So I moved in with the aunt of Calvin, and that's who I still live with now.
So that's kind of became your second family. So it's kind of given you 2 different outlooks per se on life. You know, having growing up in Louisville, having that background, and then growing up in little old Brandenburg in Meade County. What was that like? How do you think that shaped you into who you are?
It was a little bit of an adjustment at first, but I think I was really probably meant for that life. I'm not really like a big city kind of guy. Like, I like to just stay to myself and just hang out with some friends here and there. But I think it was a good adjustment that I needed, and it definitely got me ready for Morehead because it's basically the same environment. So.
And where did you play high school ball at Louisville before you went to Meade County?
My freshman year, I played at Valley High School.
Okay.
And then my sophomore year, I had to sit out because I transferred to Doss High School.
Okay. And then you ended up finding a home at Meade County. And how was that? You guys, the Green Wave, that's a pretty neat mascot. How did you guys do your junior and senior year down in Meade County?
So our junior year, we were really, really good. We had a really talented team. We got to the region tournament and lost in the championship, and we pretty much graduated, I think, 5 seniors, which was basically our starting lineup. And then Calvin, the guy that I moved in with, he ended up moving to Ludington, Michigan.
His mom did get that job.
Well, she didn't, but he always wanted to go back because that's where he's from. So he ended up going back, and I ended up staying at Meade County because I had moved in with his aunt at the time. So our senior year started off pretty good. I think we were like 8-1. I got hurt, tore a ligament in my thumb. Our team, they were good, but they just were missing something, so they lost like 19 of our next 20 games. I came back. I really wasn't even supposed to come back, but I just took it off and got the pen out of my hand and just came back. I think it came back the game of the district tournament, the first game, and pretty much we just went through the district tournament and region tournament. We ended up going to state. I think we had like the worst record ever to go to state in history. So
and the X factor right here. Now you said Calvin. He was obviously one of your childhood friends coming up and heads to Michigan. You still keep in touch with him? Did he end up playing collegiate basketball?
He's actually playing at Hope College right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Funny how that worked out.
That's actually like my best friend right there. Him and Zane, which is who I moved in with, which is his cousin. I keep in touch with them all the time. I actually just talked to him last week. He's doing pretty good.
And it's like basically like your family, your brothers, basically. So it's pretty neat that you've created a bond there with that family. Now, you talked about you had the injury to your hand your senior season. At what point, when you were playing high school hoops, did you know, hey, I've got the talent to go and play collegiately? And when did Morehead State come into the picture?
I think I always kind of knew, but I didn't know if I really wanted to, because at first I was a football guy. Like, I never played basketball until my freshman year of high school.
Wide receiver?
Yeah.
Come
on. So I think it was my junior year, whenever I moved to Meade County, probably my sophomore year, whenever I started playing AAU. There was just a lot of coaches interested, and I was like, man, I might as well take it serious now since I got the chance. And Morehead State came into the picture, I think, when I made it to the state tournament. I think that was the first time I talked to him. So. And
AAU's when a lot of guys, kind of figure out like this is when they've got it, because that's when you're competing against the best of the best, really. But that's not where Coach Preston Spradlin, he initially recruited you. That's not where he discovered you. He saw you on the greatest stage in hoops, Rupp Arena at the KHSA Sweet 16, and you must have really made a big impression down there.
Yeah, I think so. State tournament game was kind of a tough game for me. We played Cooper High School, I think, and I started off like having a bad game. I think they triangle and tube me or something like that. So like it was just all on me to like score the ball. But my teammates kind of stepped up a little bit. We ended up losing that game, but it was a fun game, and I'm glad Coach P was there watching.
Now, P comes talk to you right after the game, like, hey, what's up? Preston Spradlin, Morehead State basketball, and that's the rest is history. Is that how that goes?
Yeah, pretty much. Came on a visit during the summer, I think. And I pretty much committed on my visit, like right after.
And what was it about this university that really drew you to it?
It just felt like the right fit. Like I said, the environment was like Meade County, so it kind of just felt like home. Coach P was a young coach. He just said all the right things, did all the right things, and had the right mindset, and it just felt like a great fit.
It's interesting. You mentioned earlier you're not the big city guy and stuff. You also were heavily recruited by Bellarmine, and that's in Louisville, but you kind of chose to stick more to your Meade County roots there and come to the smaller school, Morehead State. And I'm sure Coach Preston Spradlin's really grateful for that. Was it also intriguing to be a part of him starting building his own culture here, and you wanted to be a part of something like that?
Yeah, it was definitely intriguing. It was pretty much one of the reasons why I came in here, because he wanted to build something in his own, I guess, in his own image. So it was kind of fun to see where that would go.
And you being from Louisville, Lamontre Harris was here already. He's a PRP legend. Did you kind of know Lamontre?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because my cousin Richard Gaines, he used to play for PRP with Lamontre, so I kind of knew Lamontre before coming here. So that made it even better to kind of get to know him a little bit more while playing here. I actually hung out with him when I was on my visit, so it was, I guess it was kind of meant to be.
Now, other than Coach P being in, Morehead State basketball, and there's a lot of it on the wall here behind us, a lot of it's a real, very storied program. A guy like Kenneth Freed, all NBA guy, and the NCAA leader in rebounding. I mean, did you think about any of that, any of the legacy of the program when you got here?
Yeah, a little bit. I remember, like, I think I was in 5th grade. I had to be. Whenever they hit that big shot against Louisville, I was watching it on like the roll around box TV or whatever. So I like kind of remembered that whenever he started recruiting me, and I just looked into everything that happened in Morehead State history. So I like to know like different facts and background stuff of like what I'm doing or where I'm going.
Now, James, and you're now a junior here at Morehead State. Let's talk about what you're doing, over on the campus side of the university, not in athletics, but over as a student athlete. What are you majoring in, and what's your plans?
I'm majoring in business management. I chose business because the second family that I live with, they own a couple businesses, so it just intrigued me, like, how did they get to where they are? Like you can do anything with a business degree, so I kind of chose that route because you just can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, and they actually get some pretty interesting things, pretty interesting business things that they're in. What are some of those?
So the main one is called PPC. It's like masking paper. They make paper for people who like paint, and they sell paper to like Walmart, Amazon, and all that stuff. And then they have a farming business. They have a chiropractic business. This is just a lot of different business ventures.
Oh, okay. So they're kind of the business moguls of Meade County down there. Well, JB, you have another semester of school left, and you planning just to get straight out into the workforce and start being an entrepreneur or working at the family business, or what do you have on the horizon? Also, can't forget, you might have some pro prospects, man.
Given the opportunity, I mean, I would love to go play pro anywhere I get the chance to, but if that doesn't happen, I hop straight into the workforce, try to, I don't know, be as successful as I can in that aspect.
And we just talked about the history of Morehead State basketball. There's quite a few guys right now that have pursued that route, playing professionally overseas or in Canada, or have you had the opportunity to talk to some of those guys about that experience, and what is that like? I mean, the prospects of going overseas, going to an unknown place to you, is that exciting to you or unknown? Who knows what may happen? You may end up discovering the next big business beforehand and stay home and do that, but I'm sure it's really on the forefront of your mind about that, about playing hoops.
Right. I talked to Xavier Moon when he was here on homecoming about playing in Canada, because, I mean, that's obviously I would love to stay in the United States playing in the NBA, but that would be like my second pick to go play in Canada somewhere because it's close. I just like Canada as a country.
And Moon's a dog up there.
Yeah. I talked to him about it. I mean, it's just something that I've always dreamed of. It would be a blessing to go play at the next level. It's definitely exciting just to go experience a different culture, even if I go play overseas, just to experience a different culture, a different country, do stuff I've never done. So yeah, I would love to go play overseas or play in the NBA or something like that.
Now, of course, we got quite a few games left here to wrap up this season, some big ones. What do you say we head up to the practice facility and talk a little bit about hoops up there and give people a chance to see the new practice facility we have here at Morehead State? JB, you guys, this new facility up here, practice facility, we're standing in, a beautiful facility, great lighting in here. You guys practice in here quite a bit. Let's talk about practices and just basketball in general, and then we'll talk about what's coming up. But what's the transition? We already talked about your high school days, and what's the transition been? The game, how, you could see probably some growing pains your freshman year, but as you grew into a sophomore, you kind of really sprouted into a heck of a basketball player in the Ohio Valley Conference. What was that growing pains like, and what were some of the big differences for you?
The transition, probably say the hardest thing was the pace of the game, and like high school, you can take plays off. Like if you're one of the best players on the floor, you don't have to try as hard. So everybody can pretty much do everything you can do at the college level. So like you can't take a play off, might get scored on, So I think the pace of the game, how fast-paced it is compared to high school, was one of the biggest things, and the physicality too.
Yeah. High school, you got dudes like me out there guarding you. You just throw the hand up, get it,
right,
lay it in. Now, Preston Spradlin, your coach, you guys have obviously, kind of went through some changes and some growing pains, and it seemed like last year, towards the end of the year, you're really clicking. This year, it's been definitely a journey, but you can see that that it's there. What's playing for Coach Spradlin like, and his style of basketball, and these teams you've been a part of?
I'll say freshman year, growing pains. I think we just needed to grow up a little bit as a team. We weren't quite as close-knit. And then sophomore year, I think at the beginning of the year, like we just weren't bought in at first. And then towards the end of the year, everybody started to buy in because we knew we had a chance to play in the OVC tournament and compete for a championship. And this year, I think we just got to get off to better starts at the beginning of the game. I think that's just our biggest problem as of now in rebounding the ball. But playing for Coach P, he's just an energy guy. He just wants us to play hard. He's a really good coach. He really is bought into his players. I think he really invests time in his players. So he's just coach you dream of playing for.
Yeah, he's got faith in you guys. You guys can go out and beat anybody you line up against. What's the styles you guys have kind of went through as evolving? I know this year is the first real year you guys have had some really true post guys in Tyjon Claude and LJ Bryan. What's been kind of the evolution of the style, and also a guy like Juice Thomas running the point? What's all those changes been?
So we really want to play in transition, like get out and run. That's the fastest and funnest way to play basketball, is to get up and down. But we've kind of been focusing on execution lately, so just kind of running our plays to the best of our ability, getting guys screened, rebounding, offensive rebounding. We've been focusing on throwing in the post lately because obviously Ty and LJ have been playing really good, especially Ty. So we've been trying to get them more touches, just to start off the game playing smash mouth basketball, as Coach P would say. And playing with Juice, he's just a great point guard. He'll find you wherever you are. He can take over the game at points, just getting to the rim, creating for others. So we've just been kind of playing through those guys and trying to get Jordan. Obviously, he's one of the best guards in the OVC, so they're going to be playing him tight every game. So just trying to get him more easier looks so he doesn't have to force it, so the game can come to him, Just kind of playing fast-paced, but execution.
Yeah, because you're going to have to break down and win some games in a half court going forward through this OVC schedule, which is just grinding. And now in your third season going through it, and what's it like? We just went to Illinois, you go to Alabama, quick 4-day trip. So what's that grueling OVC schedule like?
I'll say the road trips are probably the worst because it's a 6-hour bus ride after 6-hour bus ride, Just being stuck on that bus for that long.
And luckily the league kind of fixed it up a little bit this year, so we're not tipping at 8:30 in Nashville or something like that, which has been nice. But what's your favorite place to play in the league on the road?
Nashville for sure.
Is it the Belmont and Tennessee State trip? it is a pretty. Those are two always really energetic venues. You mentioned earlier, talking about last year, you guys kind of came together and really were making a solid run push towards the end of the season. James, I thought that was a lot due to you. You coming on with some really solid defensive play, protecting the rim, and finding your stroke. I know this year maybe you haven't played up to what you want to or what your expectations are, but no better time to start than now. And Eastern Kentucky at home this Thursday. I look back to the Eastern Kentucky game the first time you played Nick Mayo, and that's whenever we saw the flash. This guy's got it. Now we've got Eastern Kentucky again. What do you say? James Baker 2.0 ready to show out?
For sure. Eastern Kentucky has always been one of my favorite games to play in, just because it's an in-state rival. I know a bunch of people that go there. I know a bunch of the guys that play on the team. It's just always a fun game for me. Just always come out and try to beat them as bad as we can.
And speaking of that, then you go to Murray State, and a team that was an NCAA tournament team last year. They had a guy by the name of John Moran. He may win NBA Rookie of the Year, but they're pretty good. And that's the kind of it program in the OVC right now. What's it mean to go down there and play them? We've got tradition and all this stuff, but Morehead State and Murray State, that's a good rivalry also.
Right. Murray State. This is one of the games I look forward to because, I don't think we've beat them since I've been here. And I would love to beat them, especially in their place.
Oh, yeah.
Especially since I think they're number one in the standings right now. So to go down there and beat them would be huge. I think the guys have a chip on their shoulder from last year, from when we lost to them. I think the new guys have a chip on their shoulder also. So we're looking forward to going down there and giving all we got and trying to come out with a win.
Now, you talked about the energy and that is behind some of these rivalries. We've had some really great crowds here the past few games at Johnson Arena for the last homestand for UT Martin and for SEMO. Awesome crowds. What's it mean when Johnson Arena is packed up? It can get a pretty rocking. What's it mean when you guys have community, student body, all those people that are supporting you guys?
It's a huge thing. It feels like there's a sixth man out there when we have a huge crowd. It really helps us get going. I think that's why we're 9-2 at home.
Yeah.
So I think the crowd has a big thing to do with it. We really appreciate all the students that come out, all the other sports teams that support us. So, if we can get Johnson Arena rocking again, let's do it.
Yeah, it makes for a great atmosphere. In Eastern Kentucky this Thursday, and we have the big weekend with Belmont and Tennessee State here. And you guys have a really kind of tough schedule to close it out here, but opportunity to really kind of put some people on notice in the league. Does that kind of, give you some motivation?
Yeah, it does. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that don't believe we can win next 6 games, but we come in every day, work hard, try to get better every day because we believe we can win the next 6 games and possibly win the OVC tournament. So Coach P just talks about having that belief, and I think all the guys in the locker room have it. So try to come out and win these next 6 games.
James, kind of wrap things up here. What's your goals as to leave your mark, your legacy? Of course, you still have your senior season left, and we'll hear from you plenty then. But what's your goals to wrap up this season and moving forward with Morehead State?
So wrap up this season, just come in every day, get better, play to the best of my abilities, and hopefully win the OVC tournament with our 2 senior guys, Jamin and Jordan. Hopefully go out with a bang for their last season, and for my last season, just to get better, come in with better numbers than I did this year. Just win another OVC tournament.
Yeah, and you couldn't ask for 2 better seniors like Jamin and Jordan, who've really helped Coach Bradley build the foundation of this program, and you'll be the senior next year. You've got some dogs coming off the bench that are going to be playing with you, and Skylar Potter and KJ Hunt, Davon Cooper coming back. Senior year looking not too bad.
Can't wait to play with those.
That's right. I come in here and watch them in practice, and they are just electric. It's a lot of fun to watch. James, before we go, we'll give you the last chance to kind of tell the fans, how much their support means to you, and shout out anybody that you want to say hello to back home in Meade County or in Louisville.
We really appreciate the fans. We hope to see you guys in the next 6 games or next 3 games we have at home. We really love you guys' support. Shout out to my teammates. Shout out to the coaches. Shout out to everybody at home. Shout out to my family. Thank you, guys.
All right, James, appreciate you joining me here and talking a little bit about yourself and about Morehead State basketball and the exciting future that you have, and we really look forward to watching it. Fans, this has been Tuesday TED Talk. Thanks for watching, and make sure to follow at MSU Eagles on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with all the episodes of Tuesday TED Talk, along with our other great weekly video features for Morehead State Athletics. Once again, Ted McCoart signing off here with Tuesday TED Talk. Go Eagles.